Hello and welcome to Bible Body Doubling. This is where we read the stories together and we wonder out loud. I'm your host, Giovanna J, here with my co-hosts, KJ5 and CSB. Okay, last episode hold up, I'm stuttering. Last episode we were on chapters 5 through 8. Okay, so this episode is chapter 9 through 12. Okay, let's just get straight into the good book. I'm not going to do a cap on a recap. It's a weekday. A lot of us got school. A lot of us got jobs. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste your time. Okay, so I'm going to go back just a little bit. Just a teeny bit. Let's do Judah, verse 25. In the 12th year of Israel's king Joram, son of Ahab, Ahaziah, son of Jehoram, became king of Judah. Ahaziah was 22 years old when he became king, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Athaliah, granddaughter of Israel's king Omri. He walked in the ways of the house of Ahab and did what was evil in the... He did what was evil in the Lord's sight. Like the house of Ahab. Remember, Ahab was a little off the chain. For his father had married into the house of Ahab. Ahaziah went with Joram, son of Ahab, to fight against King Hazael of Aram in Ramoth Gilead. And the Arameans wounded Joram. So King Joram returned to Jezreel to recover from the wounds that the Arameans had inflicted on him in Ramoth Gilead when he fought against the Aram's king Hazael. Then Judah's king Ahaziah, son of Jehoram, went down to Jezreel to visit Joram, son of Ahab, since Joram was ill. That was a lot. So who are these people? Hold on. Okay, Ahaziah, who his Athaliah is the grandmother Omri. That's on this side, the two tribes, David's side, and then Joram is on the north side. Okay, which is King Ahab, chapter 9. The prophet Elisha called one of the sons of the prophets and says, "Tuck your mantle under your belt. Take this flask of oil with you and go to Ramoth Gilead. When you get there, look for Jehu, son of Jehoshaphat, son of Nimshi. Go in, get him away from his colleagues, and take him to an inner room. Then take the flask of oil, pour it on his head, and say, 'This is what the Lord says. I anoint you king over Israel. Open the door and escape.'" Don't wait. So young prophet went to Ramoth Gilead. Okay, so Jehu, whose side is he on? We don't know yet. Do we? Oh, Jehu's new to the scene. But son of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat is, because Jehoram and Ahaziah. Okay, so Jehoshaphat's like two kings back. So interesting. Ahaziah right now is king. So so that is basically betrayal. Literally. Treaty. Okay. Go in, get him away from his. Oh, we read that part. Okay, So the young prophet went to Ramoth Gilead. When he arrived, the army commander was sitting there. So he said, "I have a message for you, Commander." Jehu asked, "For which one of us?" He answered, "For you, commander. So Jehu got up and went into the house. The young prophet poured the oil on his head and said, "This is what the Lord God of Israel says. I anoint you king over the Lord's people, Israel. You are to strike down the house of your master Ahab, so that I may avenge the blood shed by the hand of Jezebel, the blood of my servants the prophets and all of the servants of the Lord. The whole house of Ahab will perish, and I will wipe out all of Ahab's males, both slave and free in Israel. I will make the house of Ahab like the house of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, son of Ahijah. The dogs will eat Jezebel in the plot of the land of Jezreel. No one will bury her." Then the young prophet opened the door and escaped. When Jehu came out to his master's servants, they asked, "Is everything all right? Why did this crazy person come to you?" Then he said to them, "You know, the sort and their ranting." But they replied, "That's a lie." "Tell us." So Jehu said, he talked to me about this and that and said that this is what the Lord says, I anoint you king over Israel. Each man quickly took his garment and put it under Jehu on the bare steps. They blew the ram's horn and proclaimed Jehu is king. Then Jehu, son of Jehoshaphat, son of Nimshi, conspired against Joram. Joram and all Israel had been at Ramoth Gilead on guard against King Hazael of Aram. But King Joram had returned to Jezreel to recover from the wounds that the Arameans had inflicted on him when he fought against the Aram's King Hazael. Jehu said, "If you commanders wish to make me king, then don't let anyone escape from the city to go tell about it in Jezreel." Jehu got into his chariot and went to Jezreel, since Joram was laid up there and King Ahaziah of Judah had gone down to visit Joram. Now, the watchman was standing on the tower in Jezreel. He saw Jehu's mob approaching and shouted, "I see a mob!" Joram responded, "Choose a rider and send him to meet them and have him ask, 'Do you come in peace?'" So a horseman went to meet Jehu and said, "This is what the king asks. Do you come in peace?" Jehu replied, "What do you have to do with peace? Fall in behind me." The watchman reported, The messenger reached them but hasn't started back." So he sent out a second horseman who went to them and said, "This is what the king asks. Do you come in peace?" Jehu answered, What do you have to do with peace? Fall in behind me." Again, the watchman reported, "He reached them but hasn't started back. Also, the driving is like that of Jehu, son of Nimshi. He drives like a madman." "Get the chariots ready," Joram shouted, and they got it ready. Then King Joram of Israel and King Ahaziah of Judah set out, each in his own chariot, and met Jehu at the plot of the land of Naboth the Jezreelite. When Joram saw Jehu, he asked, "Do you come in peace, Jehu?" He answered, "What peace can there be as long as there is so much prostitution and sorcery from your mother, Jezebel?" Joram turned around and fled, shouting to Hazael, "It's treachery! Ahaziah!" Then Jehu, what did I call it? I called it treaty. Or did I say treachery? I need to get it together. Then Jehu drew his bow. Then Jehu drew his bow and shot. Oh my God, this is what I get for interrupting the story. Then Jehu drew his bow and shot Joram between the shoulders. The arrow went through his heart, and he slumped down in his chariot. Jehu said to Bidkar, his aide, "Pick him up and throw him on the plot of ground belonging to Naboth the Jezreelite. For remember, when you and I was riding side by side behind his father Ahab, the Lord ordered this pronouncement against him. As surely as I saw the blood of Naboth and the blood of his son yesterday, this is the Lord's declaration. So will I pay you on this plot of land. This is the Lord's declaration. So now, according to the word of the Lord, pick him up and throw him on the plot of land. When King Ahaziah of Judah saw what was happening, he fled up the road toward Beth Haggan. Jehu pursued him, shouting, "Shoot him too!" So they shot him in his chariot at Gur Pass near Emblem. But he fled to Megiddo and died there. Then his servants carried him to Jerusalem in a chariot and buried him in his father's tomb in the city of David. It was the 11th year of Joram, son of Ahab, that Ahaziah had become king over Judah. When Jehu came to Jezreel, Jezebel heard about it, so she painted her eyes, fixed her hair, looked down from the window. As Jehu entered the city gate, she says, "Do you come in peace, Zimri, killer of your master?" He looked up toward the window and said, "Who is on my side?" "Who?" 2 or 3 eunuchs looked down at him and he said, "Throw her down." So they threw her down. Some of her blood splattered on the walls and on the horses, and Jehu rode over her. Then he went in, ate, and drank, and said, "Take care of this cursed woman and bury her, since she's a king's daughter." But when they went out to bury her, they did not find anything but the skull, the feet, and the hands. So they went back and told him, and he said, "This fulfills the Lord's word that he spoke through his servant Elijah the Tishbite. In the plot of land at Jezreel, the dogs will eat Jezebel's flesh. Jezebel's corpse will be like manure on the surface of the ground in the plot of land at Jezreel, so that no one will be able to say, 'This is Jezebel.'" Dang. Since Ahab had 70 sons in Samaria, Jehu wrote letters and sent them to Samaria to the rulers of Jezreel, to the elders, and to the guardians of Ahab's sons, saying, "Your master's sons are with you, and you have chariots, horses, a fortified city, and weaponry. So when this letter arrives, select the most qualified of your master's sons, set him on his father's throne, and fight your master's house." However, they were terrified and reasoned, "Look, 2 kings couldn't stand against him. How can we?" So the overseer of the palace, the overseer of the palace, the overseer of the city, the elders, and the guardians sent a message to Jehu. "We are your servants, and we will do whatever you tell us. We will not make anyone king. Do whatever you think is right." Then Jehu wrote them a second letter, saying, "If you are on my side, and if you will obey me, bring me the heads of your master's sons at this time tomorrow at Jezreel." All 70 of the king's sons were being cared for by the city's prominent men. When the letter came to them, they took the king's sons and slaughtered all 70, put their heads in baskets, and sent them to Jehu at Jezreel. When the messenger came and told him, "They have brought the heads of the king's sons," the king said, Pile them in 2 heaps at the entrance of the city gate until morning. The next morning, when he went out and stood at the gate, he said to all the people, "You are innocent. It was I who conspired against my master and killed him. But who struck down all these? Know then that not a word the Lord spoke against the house of Ahab will fail. For the Lord has done what he promised through his servant Elijah." So Jehu killed all who remained of the house of Ahab in Jezreel, all his great men, close friends, and priests, leaving him no survivors. Then he sent out and went to Samaria. On the way, while he was at Beth Eked of the shepherds, Jehu met the relatives of King Ahaziah of Judah and asked, "Who are you?" They answered, "We're Ahaziah's relatives. We come down to greet the king's sons and the queen mother's sons." Then Jehu ordered, "Take them alive." So they took them alive and then slaughtered them at the pit of Beth Eked. Oh my gosh. For 42 men. Oh my gosh. He didn't spare any of them. When he left there, he found Jehonadab, son of Rechab, we're going to leave that alone, coming to meet him. He greeted him and then asked, "Is your heart one with mine?" "It is," Jehonadab replied. Jehu said, "If it is, give me your hand." So he gave him his hand. And Jehu pulled him up into the chariot with him. Then he said, Come with me and see my zeal for the Lord." So he let him ride with him in his chariot. When Jehu came to Samaria, he struck down all who remained from the house of Ahab in Samaria until he had annihilated his house, according to the word of the Lord spoken to Elijah. Then Jehu brought all the people together and said to them, "Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu will serve him a lot." What? Hold on. Wait a minute. Jehu, what is he doing? Jehu. This could not be. Hold on. This cannot be. Then Jehu brought all the people together and said to them, "Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu will serve him a lot. Now therefore, summon to me all the prophets of Baal, all his servants and all his priests. None must be missing, for I have a great sacrifice for Baal. Whoever is missing will not live." However, Jehu was acting deceptively in order to destroy the servants of Baal. Jehu commanded, "Consecrate a solemn assembly for Baal." So they called one. Then Jehu sent messengers throughout all Israel, and all the servants of Baal came. No one failed to come. They entered the temple of Baal, and it was filled from one end to the other. Then he said to the custodian of the wardrobe, "Bring out the garments for all the servants of Baal." So he brought out their garments. Then Jehu and Jehonadab, son of Rechab, entered the temple of Baal. And Jehu said to the servants of Baal, "Look carefully to see that there are no servants of the Lord here among you, only servants of Baal." They went in to offer sacrifices and burnt offerings. Now Jehu had stationed 80 men outside, and he warned them, "Whoever allows any of the men I am placing in your hands to escape will forfeit his life for theirs." We've heard that before. When he finished offering the burnt offering, Jehu said to the guards, "Hold on. I'm reading with one eye. Something's in my eye. It's my good eye. Is that a thing? All right. Where was I? Okay. Jehu said to the guards and officers, "Go in and kill them. Don't let anyone out." So they struck them down with the sword. Then the guards and officers threw the bodies out and went into the inner room of the temple of Baal. They brought out the pillar of the temple of Baal and burnt it. And they tore down the pillar of Baal. Then they tore down the temple of Baal and made it a latrine, which it still is today. Jehu eliminated Baal's worship from Israel, but he did not turn away from the sins that Jeroboam, son of Nebat, had caused Israel to commit, worshiping the gold calves that were in Bethel and Dan. Nevertheless, the Lord said to Jehu, "Because you have done well in carrying out what is right in my sight, and have done, because you have done well in carrying out what is right in my sight, and have done to the house of Ahab all that was in my heart, 4 generations of your sons will sit on the throne of Israel." Yet Jehu was not careful to follow the instructions of the Lord God of Israel with all his heart. He did not turn from the sins that Jeroboam had caused Israel to commit. In those days, the Lord began to reduce the size of Israel. Hazael defeated the Israelites throughout their territory from the Jordan eastward. The whole land of Gilead, the Gadites, the Reubenites, the Manassites, from Aroer, which is by the Arnon Valley, through Gilead to Bashan. The rest of the events of Jehu's reign, along with all his accomplishments and all his might, are written in the historical record of Israel's kings. Jehu rested with his fathers and was buried in Samaria. His son Jehoahaz became king in his place. The length of Jehu's reign over Israel and Samaria was 28 years. Okay, we got another king. Let me write it down. So we have Jehu, who killed Ahaz and Joram, who ended up being the king over Hazael. Was it? Because Hazael is king over Aram, I thought. So much is going on. Okay, Jehu, and then who's now king? What did it say? Yeah, it is. It's King Hazael of Aram. So I guess Israel doesn't have a king at this time. So Jehu reigns, and who came up in his place? Jehoahaz. Okay. And there's nobody from Ahab. Okay, well, this is a lot. All right. Jehu rested with his father and was buried in Samaria. His son Jehoahaz became king in his place. The length of Jehu's reign over Israel and Samaria was 28 years. When Athaliah, Ahaziah's mother, saw that her son was dead, she proceeded to annihilate all the royal heirs. Jehosheba was King Jehoram's daughter. Oh, and Ahaziah's sister secretly secretly rescued. Okay, wait. Jehosheba, Jehosheba. I like that better. Jehosheba, who was King Jehoram's daughter and Ahaziah's sister, and Ahaziah was the king. I'm confused. Who was Jehoram's daughter? Oh, okay. I'm back. And okay. Because remember, he married in. I'm back. He married in. I gotta look back at my paper. He married in. Okay, so Athaliah, she got married in by Omri. Okay, and then Ahab. Okay, I remember now. You got like my rings. That means married. Okay, we're back. A little bit. We're back a little bit. When Athaliah, Ahaziah's mother, which is the king, saw that her son was dead, she proceeded to annihilate all the royal heirs. So she killed her own family member. That's what that is. Jehosheba, who was the king Jehoram's daughter and Ahaziah's sister, secretly rescued Joash, son of Ahaziah, from among the king's sons who were being killed and put him and the one who nursed him in a bedroom. That is a lot. That's a lot. I gotta get my actors together. So I think we can simplify this. So Joash, the son of the king, was snucked away, sound like by his auntie. Are you picking up what I put down? It sound like it was just his auntie. His auntie Jehosheba came and got him, went and hid him and his nurse. We summed it up. Okay. Okay, we're going to start from Jehosheba was King Jehoram's daughter and Ahaziah's sister. Secretly rescued Joash, son of Ahaziah, from among the king's sons who were being killed and put him and the one who nursed him in a bedroom. So he was hiding from Athaliah, which is his grandmother, and was not killed. Joash was in, his grandmother. Joash, because Athaliah is Ahaziah's mother, which is so like, maybe they got different mamas? Because they could have just said her daughter Jehosheba went and hid, XYZ, but maybe she was married into the family. I don't know. So he was hidden from Athaliah and was not killed. Joash was in hiding with her in the Lord's temple 6 years while Athaliah reigned over the land. So we have a queen, or Ahaziah. And we have a queen, Athaliah. I wonder. Okay. I feel like I have something that shows me. Okay. I have a little paper. Here we are. This is my boo. So this came out of the. I don't even think the spine is on it anymore. That's how much I use this Bible. Yeah, I don't see the spine on it. but it's like my study Bible. It was like a study Bible from back in the Dizzle. And it came with these charts, and it'll tell you, and I laminated it because I like this so much. It'll tell you like all of the kings. Like the purple is the north side, and the red is the south side. The south side is King David's side, and the north side is Jeroboam's side, the side of Israel. But they tell you, it shows you like all of the kings and what ended up happening. So right now we are right here, Ahaziah. Oh, it was two Ahaziahs. I knew it was. I wrote it on my thing and I was a little confused. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. It's two Ahaziahs. Jehu. Wait, now I'm confused. Okay, sorry. The north side was Jeroboam. The south side was Rehoboam. You know, the Boam boys. Okay, yes. What's the? I just forgive me, forgive me. I got it, I got it. All right. So we are here. Oh, wrong way. We are here, and this is the part where you have the north side and the south side in red. The north side is like bluish purple. And I didn't know Jehu was on the north side. I don't know. In my brain, I just put him over there. Oh, because that Haziah got me confused. That's why it's two Haziahs, number 9 and number 6. But on this, all this trauma is happening on David's side of the fence. Athaliah, the queen, she's on David's side of the fence. Okay. Mm-hmm. Drama. It's just drama. That's all on David's side. I wonder if it still has something to do with like the sword would never leave his house. Remember that when the prophet told him that? The prophet Nathan, I believe it was, when he slept with Bathsheba. All right. Let's keep it going. All right. Joash was hiding. I'm sorry. Joash was in hiding with her in the temple 6 years, while Athaliah reigned over the land. Should she look too old for that? She look too old for that. In the 7th year, Jehoiada sent the Jehoiada sent for the commanders of hundreds, the Karites and the guards. He had them come to him in the Lord's temple, where he made a covenant with them and put them under oath. He showed them the king's son and commanded them, "This is what you are to do. A third of you who come on duty on the Sabbath are to provide protection for the king's palace. A third are to be at the foundation gate, and a third at the gate behind the guards. You are to take turns providing protection for the palace." Oh, well, he's in the temple. I guess he's calling the temple the palace. Mm. Your two divisions that go off duty on the Sabbath are to provide the king protection at the. Oh, okay. See, I'm sorry, you all. Like, I'm thinking, and the answer to my thoughts out loud, if I keep reading, my own thoughts will be answered. We're reading it together. This is the way I read. You over there on the other side of the camera, I don't know what you're saying, but unfortunately I have the mic, so you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm doing. All right. Thank you so much for your mercy towards me. All right, I'm going to say it again. Your two divisions that go off duty on the Sabbath are to provide the king protection in the Lord's temple. Completely surround the king with weapons in hand. Anyone who approaches the ranks is to be put to death. Be with the king in all his daily tasks. So these patrols had to do double shifts. After they went and protected the actual palace, they had to now go in secret to the Lord's temple and protect the real king, because she's the fake one. And I was like, did they ever rest? So the commanders of hundreds did everything the priest Jehoiada commanded. They each brought their men, those coming on duty on the Sabbath and those going off duty, and came to the priest Jehoiada. The priest gave to the commanders of hundreds King David's spears and shields that were in the Lord's temple. Then the guards stood with their weapons in hand surrounding the king. From the right side of the temple to the left side, by the altar and by the temple. Jehoiada brought out the king's son, put the crown on him, gave him the testimony, and made him king. They anointed him and clapped their hands and cried, "Long live the king!" When Athaliah heard the noise from the guard and the crowd, she went out to the people at the Lord's temple. She looked, and there was the king standing by the pillar according to the custom. The commanders and the trumpeters were by the king, and all the people of the land were rejoicing and blowing trumpets. Athaliah tore her clothes and screamed, "Treason! Treason!" Then the priest Jehoiada ordered the commanders of hundreds in charge of the army, "Take her out between the ranks and put to death by the sword anyone who follows her." For the priest had said, "She is not to be put to death in the Lord's temple." So they arrested her, and she went through the horse entrance to the king's palace, where she was put to death. Then Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord, the king, and the people, that they would be the Lord's people, and another covenant between the king and the people. So all the people of the land went to the temple of Baal and tore it down. They smashed its altars and images to pieces, and they killed Matan, the priest of Baal, at the altars. Then Jehoiada, the priest, appointed guards for the Lord's temple. He took the commanders of hundreds, the Karites, the guards, and all the people of the land, and they brought the king from the Lord's temple. They entered the king's palace by way of the guards' gate. Then Joash sat on the throne of the kings. All the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was quiet, for they had put Athaliah to death by the sword in the king's palace. Joash was 7 years old when he became king. In the 7th year of Jehu. Okay, let me go back to my little piece of paper. Okay, we have in the 7th year of Jehu. Okay, so right about here. And Joash became king. Okay, and this is Jehu. So Jehu did become king. Okay, we know what's going on now. In the 7th year of Jehu, Joash became king, and he reigned. Joash became king, and he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Zibiah. She was from Beersheba. Throughout the time, the priest Jehoiada instructed him. Joash did what was right in the Lord's sight, yet the high places were not taken away. The people continued sacrificing and burning incense on the high places. Then Joash said to the priests, "All the dedicated silver brought to the Lord's temple, census silver, silver from vows, and all silver voluntarily given for the Lord's temple, each priest is to take it from his assessor and repair whatever damage is found in the temple." But by the 23rd year of the reign of King Joash, the priest had not repaired the damage. The priest had not repaired the damage to the temple. So King Joash called the priests Jehoiada and the other priests and asked, "Why haven't you repaired the temple's damage? Since you haven't, don't take any silver from your assessors. Instead, hand it over for the repair of the temple." So the priests agreed that they would receive no silver from the people and would not be the ones to repair the temple's damage. Mm. What was going on with the priests? Then the priest Jehoiada took a chest, bored a hole in its lid, and set it beside the altar on the right side as one enters the Lord's temple. The priest would guard the threshold, put into the chest all the silver that was brought into the Lord's temple. Whenever they saw there was a large amount of silver in the chest, the king's secretary and the high priest would go back up and tally the silver found in the Lord's temple. Then they would give the weighed silver to those doing the work, those who oversaw the Lord's temple. They in turn would pay it out to those working on the Lord's temple, the carpenters, the builders, the masons, and the stone cutters, and would use it to buy timber and carried stones to repair the damage to the Lord's temple and for all expenses for temple repairs. However, no silver bowls, wick trimmers, sprinkling basins, trumpets, or any articles of gold or silver were made for the Lord's temple from the contributions brought to the Lord's temple. Instead, it was given to those doing the work, and they repaired the Lord's temple with it. No accounting was required from the men who received the silver to pay those doing the work, since they worked with integrity. The silver from the guilt offering and the sin offering was not brought to the Lord's temple, since it belonged to the priests. At that time, King Hazael of Aram marched up and fought against Gath and captured it. Then he planned to attack Jerusalem. So King Joash of Judah took all the items consecrated by himself and by his ancestors. Judah's kings, Jehoshaphat, Jehoram, and Hazael, as well as all the gold found in the treasury of the Lord's temple and in the king's palace. And he sent them to King Hazael of Aram. Then Hazael withdrew from Jerusalem. But why did he do that? The rest of the events of Joash's reign, along with all his accomplishments, are written in the historical record of Judah's kings. Joash's servants conspired against him and attacked him. No, girl. Joash's servants conspired against him and attacked him. Okay, so normally when, we have this type of situation, the king did something bad. But Joash didn't do anything bad. So I wonder what's going on. Joash's servants conspired against him and attacked him. And Beth Millo on the road that goes down to, at Beth Millo on the road that goes down to Selah. It was his servants Jozabad, son of the Shemith, and Jehozabad, son of Shomer, who attacked him. He died, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David, and his son Amaziah became king in his place. Why did they do that? That was it? This is how you gonna leave me? That's it? I'm so disturbed. There's no backstory. It's a little disturbing. And the only thing I can think of is, cause I don't feel all the way comfortable what he did with King Hazael. Hazael. I don't feel that comfortable. I really want to call him Hazel. We're going to keep it there. We're going to call him Hazel. I really am not that comfortable what he did with King Hazel, because Something about that feels off, doesn't it? Like you gave him a tribute. Why? Like you can call him you can call him the name of the Lord. Like that's what got y'all in troubles in the first place. So I'm like, why we just gave him the money? We just gave him everything. The money at the temple. You just gave him everything. Also, he just wouldn't come and put up a fight, man. You know what happened? Joash. So I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't know if it's just like some wisdom thing. Like later on we'll find out like there was the word of the Lord. We find out all this extra information that we didn't know before. But I'm just like, why? And so I wonder if that was a bad thing that he did in the sight of the Lord. And so therefore, you know how every time somebody do something a little off, God comes right behind them, a little pop pop. Get a little pop pop. And so I don't know if that was his little pop pop. You know what I mean? Like he got a little, you know, his pop pop was just unto death. I don't know if that was probably what it is, but that's the only thing that makes a little bit of sense because he was quote unquote a good king. So anyway, this is the Bible Body Doubling podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and allowing me to read to you. And it is sponsored by the Gardener's House. Till I read to you again.